This question has come up a lot. So, and it is, does the divine masculine feel the same way as we do when we're going through this journey? And I know that this can be a hard one for people because we're going through like such an intense connection with someone, and at the same time it feels like this person is completely shut off to it, or completely, shuts down the whole situation, says that they just want to be friends, or says that they don't want to be with us, or says that they don't want to see us, or doesn't want to have any sort of relationship with us. That, it comes in all different shapes and sizes, and there's no sort of one size fits all. So it, can seem on the outside that the divine masculine really doesn't care about the connection. It doesn't really seem like they're bothered by it at all. And you're sitting there, in intense amounts of pain over this person that you potentially have just met, and you don't know why, that you're just, so intensely triggered by this person and can't stop thinking about them and yearning for them. And you've never felt this way about a person in your whole life, all that sort of stuff. And those things come to mind because it's like, well, doesn't this person feel the same way as me? Like, if I'm feeling it this intense, and, you kind of know deep down that person feels something as well, but they've completely shut it down. So this is by design, on the twin flame journey. This is, part of the process. The divine masculine, in a way, has to, they basically have to reflect back to us what we are, because they are our mirror. They have to reflect back to us what we are holding internally within us. So they cannot do anything other than that. So they're not doing it just to be, an asshole, or, they don't even know consciously that they're doing this. It's just, that is by design how this journey plays out. And it's really hard to wrap your head around that when you're in the throes of it and you're in the depths of it, and you just want this person back in your life because you feel like they're going to make everything, seem better again. If this person comes back, if this person says they want to be with me, or if this person does X, Y, and Z, then I'm going to feel okay again. It's going to take all this pain away, and it's going to make everything better, and blah, blah, blah. So by design, the twin flame awakening, they can't meet you where you're at when you are going through the ascension process. They can't be there and show up for you in these ways when you're going through the ascension process, because this is something that you have to do on your own. This is your spiritual awakening, and this is something that you need to do by yourself. And this, is the other half of you reflecting back to you the parts, the unconscious and subconscious parts of you that need to be released, that need to be transmuted, and need to be, brought, all those parts need to be brought back to you and looked at and loved and released, so you don't have to carry them around with you anymore. So the divine masculine can't feel the relationship the way that we feel it, and they go through the journey differently to us as well, especially in the beginning, before the feminine comes into, any sort of balance. They can't, it's like an energetic wall comes up. They can't meet us where we're at. All they can do is reflect back to you what you are holding within you, so that you can see the parts of you to transmute. The further you get through on the path, the further you will notice, and the more you will notice that the divine masculine starts to have these little changes that might reflect back to you the changes that are happening within you. It won't be till, you fully reach that inner union state, and then they can go through a process of their own, which looks different for every divine masculine as well. They can go through a process of their own, and they can then start reflecting that love that you have for yourself back to yourself. So, you know, it's not to say that deep down on a subconscious level or even on a conscious level, they have a deep, deep love for you, because they are you as well. They know subconsciously, even if they're, you know, not completely aware of it, that there is something otherworldly about this connection. There is something that they've never felt before as well, and it's overwhelming to them, and they can't come to the party until you are in your sovereignty. So they can't reflect back to you your love and your self-respect and your self-worth and everything. They can't be in their sovereignty and show up for you like that until you are holding that within yourself. And to do that, we need to be looking at all those parts of ourselves that we haven't looked at before, and that we are still holding within us, lower vibrational templates of fear, lack, and just the lower frequencies that we have been living by for our whole lives. So this is a process, and it takes time. It's just come up a lot, and people are just wondering, like, don't they, you know, feel this too? And are they going through all these things? It's one of the most common questions, because, you know, it's only natural that we would think that as the divine feminine. What we need to bring back as well is that that's still focusing outwards on the divine masculine. We need to focus inwards on ourselves. So we can't sort of worry about, is the divine masculine, you know, feeling these feelings for me, or, you know, am I just going crazy and all this sort of stuff. Like, we need to ignore what's happening in the 3D. It's not important right now. What's important is for us to keep pushing through that ascension process, and we can, you know, we can dig our heels in the ground and not, you know, sort of want to look at these things and not want to surrender and all that sort of stuff. But it's going to keep you spinning, and it's going to keep you looping on the journey, which makes it harder, and it makes it longer, and it means that you will be in pain and the separation for longer. So, you know, but there's no right or wrong on the journey as well. So we're all where we're meant to be. It's just, you know, you will come to a point where you will have had enough of the whole process of going back and forth with the divine masculine. It becomes very exhausting on the journey, and I wanted to do another video on that as well, like the mental exhaustion that it puts you through as well, because it will come to a head at some point when the divine masculine gets to the point of exhaustion on the journey. That is, you know, kind of a pivotal point, because once you get to the full exhaustion of the journey, all that's left to do is surrender. So I hope that helps a little bit explaining the divine masculine and how they're showing up, and if they're feeling the same things.